Hey everybody, Mr. On Demand, man with the master plan. And I showed you my NAS a while back. And if you want to see that unit, there'll be a link up here showing you me doing the maintenance on it. And also there is other videos showing how you can actually the cost of purchasing everything as well. Now, let's talk about Synology though, because Synology is a very popular NAS device, and they've done some things over the years that I'm not happy with. And I had several Synology NASs, and I got rid of them because, well, I didn't really like having to be locked down to one company and making sure that I'm dependent on them to give me support for my device if they decide to stop giving support, which is exactly what happened. Um, exactly what happened, and I'm going to go over why I'm really not a fan of Synology and what they're doing, and we're going to go over what they're doing right now, which is really bad for consumers. But they did this in the past, and this is going to point right back to the end of this video, and I'm going to tell you why this information is important. Synology's ending support for DSM 6.2, key dates announced. So the DiskStation DSM is their software. That's their operating system, and they announced the end of support for 6.2 in late 2023, effective October 1st, 2024. Now, what did that mean? Well, the end of availability for Surveillance Station, which caused a bunch of people not to be able to use their software to do their video surveillance through their NAS. The Video Station, which caused people not to be able to remotely log in to watch any videos on their NAS. Audio Station, SRM. This is what they did. So when you get devices like this that you depend on the company that makes the software to give you support, if they suddenly decide, which this was after roughly 5 or 6 years, to stop supporting the device, they can make things not work anymore. This is very important to understand, because let's talk about what Synology is doing right now, because this is a bad thing. Synology drive locking policy for home devices triggers public outcry. Specifically, what they're doing is they're locking down their new devices, so their new devices can only work with Synology branded drives or Synology approved drives, which will mostly just be Synology branded. Now that's crazy because Synology doesn't even make hard drives, okay? For one thing. So if you're going to have a Synology branded hard drive, it's made by somebody else anyway. So that's a bad thing, really bad thing. Because what if we end up having a supply shortage of drives? And the company making the drives decides, well, we're going to put out drives under our name before we give Synology any hard drives. Not to mention, it's going to probably make it more expensive for you to buy hard drives for your Synology NAS. Now, remember we talked about them taking away features just a minute ago? The new NASs coming out are locked down with these. Let's go over this. This was also here. They're saying, oh, Synology's new NAS drive support policy isn't as bad as I don't know how this guy thought it wasn't as bad as he first thought. This guy's a Synology fanboy for one thing that made this article, and he's been given a couple of Synology NASs from Synology in order for him to be a Synology proponent. I'm speaking about facts, what Synology has done in the past and what they're doing right now. So Synology dropped a bombshell on its users after some back and forth with company officials. I can confidently say it's not quite as bad as it seems. It's not ideal, but it's not the end of the world either. Let's back up. Synology is a company that makes network attack storage. The company makes prosumer and small business enterprise level gear. In my evaluation of their small business NAS devices, compared to most other major contenders, I found Synology devices to be the best solution. So he talks about he runs the Synology with over 142 terabytes, 23 drives. I have like 17, 18 drives on my NAS. I have 200, 250 terabytes. I understand running a large NAS very, very well. I've had multiple Synology NASs and used many of them for clients. Yes, I know it's a lot of storage for a two-person company, blah, blah, blah. He goes on to talk about that. None of that matters. So let's break it down. 2025 or later devices. This new restriction applies to Synology Plus tier NAS devices released this year and into the future. Plus tier devices in the Plus tier, like the 4-bay DS923 Plus, are generally higher performance and have faster processors and RAM. DSM limitations. Disk Station Manager is Synology's excellent NAS operating system. It's the best that he's tested. He stroking Synology some more. It will no longer allow new drives that aren't not on Synology's compatibility list. Limit to Synology branded drives. Therefore, in practice, this means new Synology servers will only accept Synology approved, mostly Synology branded drives. I don't know how any of this is good news at all. So this brings me back to what I was talking about at the beginning of the video, when I was talking about end of support. So those other NASs that don't have this stuff built into them to require Synology branded hard drives, within 2 years, they're not going to have support anymore. And they're going to end up taking away all kinds of features, forcing people to buy new NASs again. This is why I don't like Synology. I don't think any competent tech guy should tell people to buy Synology. A company that doesn't support their consumers properly like they do, that software doesn't take anything for them to let it continue to function. And it doesn't take much for them to supply the last updated version on their servers so that they can supply it to customers who want to, even though they're not supplying support anymore, I understand that. That still doesn't mean that they can't offer the OS and offer and let the unit still work the way they always worked, even if they're not going to get any more updates. And then the consumer can decide, okay, I'll buy a new one later. By taking away features and forcing them to use Synology hard drives, there's a whole bunch of people with Synology NASs out there that are going to be like, well, I got hard drives I can't move into their new NAS. What am I going to do? They're going to buy something else. Synology, by doing these kind of practices, is going to lose a lot of customers, I believe. I don't believe that this is a good way for them to go. They don't even make hard drives, like I said before. So why should they even do that? I understand them having a list of approved drives that they're going to want to have people use in their NAS. But to have branded drives is absolutely a crazy situation. And hopefully they rethink things and maybe backtrack on this a little bit in the future. We'll see what the news comes out about this. But this is just a PSA for the most part, letting you all know to don't buy Synology NAS right now. Buy something else. Build your own NAS like I showed you. If you want to do a NAS, do something else. Don't go down the Synology route. That's my opinion. And I'm just trying to give you the best advice I can. I'm not making any money off this YouTube channel. It's not monetized right now. And I'm not being paid by anybody to tell you any of this. I'm just giving you my expert advice. I've been in the industry for 30 years doing IT, tech work, networking, etc. This is not a good thing. Not for a home or business. It doesn't matter whether you're home business or otherwise. It's just not good at all. So you guys all have a great day. Let me know down below what you thought of this video. Leave a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave a thumbs down if you didn't like it. And let me know why you didn't like it down below. If you're a Synology fan and you want to rant to me about this video, go right ahead. Absolutely. So tell me why this is okay. I want to hear from the Synology fanboys. I want them to tell me why this is okay at the end of the day. That's what I want to hear. You guys all have a wonderful one, and I'll see you in the next video. Catch you all later.